Welcome back to Capital Market live here on Channels Television. You can tweet at us on Twitter at Channels TV and of course at CTV Temple, just in case you want to weigh in terms of reaction now to some of the content that we've just played out to you. Let's now review the market and start from the offshore side of things. African markets, beginning with the BRVM, which represents the Francophone markets. We had that market positive this week, up some 1.6%. And in terms of what happened in South Africa, that's the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the composite index there was also up some 1%. And that came in at 51,560 points. The Egyptian Stock Exchange, which is the EGX 30 index now, was basically flat. That's a market that closes on Thursday, flat at 12,997 points. And in terms of what's transpired at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, which is the Kenyan market, there was a negative of 1.1%. And that was the only market that we track that came in negative this week. And here in Nigeria, the unlisted securities market saw a bit of a jump this week, up some 0.77% to 709.29. And that's a movement away from the 703.90 points. The market capitalization at a point during the week hit 500 billion naira. But owing to some profits taken, we saw the markets declining from a week on week of some 489.22 billion naira to 492.97 billion naira. And if you look at the volume, we saw a volume of 128.1 million units of shares traded, and that's a 377% higher than the 26.8 million units we saw last week. Value for this week moved away from 527 million to 1.32 billion naira. There were just 9 securities that traded out of the 38 tradable companies there. And Trust Bond Mortgage Bank had 109,374 units for this week, while CSCS raked in some 127.75 million units of shares this week. Friesland Campina Wamco also contributed to the volume boosting for this period. And for the fixed income markets, where proceedings suddenly turned bullish this week. We look at the numbers during the week. Average yields contracted some 19 basis points to 15.42%. And that follows the declines at both ends of the curve. That's the short and the long side of things. We saw some 5 basis points movements to 15.49 basis points at the long end of the curve. The yields contraction stemmed from the inflow of matured OMO bills and, of course, NCB bills worth some 551.36 billion naira and 52.65 billion naira for Nigerian Treasury bills. Now, the Apex Bank, in its usual practice, is curbing excess liquidity in the system, and that's the reason why a total of 206.43 billion naira was sold via open market operation auction, including stabilization securities worth some 39.52 billion naira. But in terms of what we saw at the bonds markets, the secondary side of that market on Friday, we saw just 24 deals in total worth 11.90 billion naira. About some 9 to 10 securities were basically responsible for these deals and value that we have in the market. But in terms of the key performing securities, there, the 18th of April 2037, which has a high price of 104 naira 51 kobo, saw some value of 6.60 billion naira. Its lowest price is 103 naira 48 kobo. That's the lowest it has gone. Tells you that when the price is up, then it tells you that there's been some kind of less interest there. March 2027 was also one security that had the attention of investors, and 18th of March 2036 got a pricing of 80 naira 65 kobo. So 1.2 billion units of transaction, 1.2 billion naira worth of transactions there in 3 deals. In terms of the Treasury bill side of things, on Friday, a total of 696 deals valued at 209.28 billion naira. We saw the 20th of December 2018, December 2018, this 27th, and these are basically at the short end of the curve moving there. in the markets. And finally, on the markets, we track equities, which is very friendly to a whole lot of investors at this point in time. Activities in the Nigerian equity markets remained bearish during the week, with the NSE All-Share Index declining by 0.60% week on week to 30,681.50 points, and equities capitalization shed 61.8 billion naira over the week. Now, the loss was driven by declines in bellwether stocks in the banking side of things, talking about the likes of FBN Holdings, Stanbic IBTC, which shed some 2.34%, and of course, Zenith Bank dipping 2.34%. Nigerian breweries also shed some 63 basis points, and of course, the food side, we have Nestle that declined by 6.39%. Basically, in terms of the sectors, you get the banking names doing fairly positive, up some 18 basis points. But in terms of the consumer goods side of things, down the most by 2.79%. You got positive side of things in positive movement in the insurance and, of course, the industrial goods, where we saw movement in Dangote cement. But unfortunately, the oil and gas couldn't move up for this week. And on that note, so it's a wrap on the program this evening. Thank you for being a part of it. I'm Temple Ashaju. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.